Pain was normal in medieval life, a daily reality we can't imagine today. The night is quiet. The world feels still. Imagine the soft darkness of a medieval village, resting beneath a wide sky. There are no bright lights. Only the gentle glow of fire through small windows. The air is cool. It carries the smell of earth, wood smoke, and damp grass. This is a world where life moves slowly. And where pain is never far away. Not sharp pain. Not sudden pain. But the steady kind. The kind that lives quietly inside the body. In the medieval world, pain is part of every day. It wakes with the people. It walks beside them. It rests with them at night. No one speaks of it much. There are no special words for it. Pain is expected. It is familiar. As morning comes, villagers rise from their beds. Beds made of straw. Of rough cloth. Of wool worn thin by many seasons. Bodies are stiff. Joints ache from yesterday's work. Hands feel heavy. Feet feel sore before the day has even begun. No one is surprised by this. This is how life feels. The floor is cold beneath bare feet. The walls hold little warmth. A woman stretches slowly near the fire. Her back tightens, then loosens. A man bends to pull on his boots. He pauses. His knees complain. Children stir nearby. They rub their eyes. They yawn. Even the young know discomfort. Scratches. Bruises. Small aches that never fully disappear. Outside, the village wakes gently. Roosters call. Animals shift in their pens. The ground is uneven. Paths are hard on the feet. Every step sends a small message up through the body. A reminder. Pain here is not an emergency. It is a condition of living. Work must still be done. Fields must still be tended. Hands grip tools worn smooth by years of use. Wooden handles press into palms. Blisters form. Old blisters harden. Cuts heal slowly. Some never heal fully. A finger bends the wrong way and stays that way. A shoulder aches for a lifetime. The body remembers everything. There are no quick remedies. No fast relief. Herbs help sometimes. Rest helps a little. Mostly, people endure. Pain is quiet. So are the people. They do not cry out. They breathe through it. A dull ache in the teeth. A burning in the stomach. Cold settles deep into bones during winter. Heat weighs heavily in summer. Every season brings its own discomfort. At night, the pain becomes more noticeable. When the work stops. When the body is still. People lie near the fire. Wrapped in blankets. They shift slowly. Looking for a position that hurts a little less. Sleep comes gently. Sometimes broken. Sometimes deep. Pain is there even in dreams. This is not a cruel world. It is simply a hard one. Pain is not seen as punishment. It is not seen as unusual. It is life itself. And so the days pass. Slowly. Quietly. Pain walks with every villager. From birth. Until the very end. And in this calm, dim world, people learn to live with it. Morning settles fully over the village. The light is pale and slow. It slips through thin openings in wooden walls. It rests on faces that are already awake. The day begins not with energy, but with acceptance. Bodies move because they must. A woman steps outside with a bucket. The handle presses into her fingers. Her hands are rough. The skin is cracked from cold and work. She does not notice the sting at first. She is used to it. Water is heavy. It pulls on her arms and shoulders. Every step back to the house reminds her of old strains. Muscles tighten, then release. Nearby, a man lifts a tool from its place. The weight feels familiar. His back aches as he straightens. It always does. There was an injury once. Years ago. No one remembers exactly when. It has become part of him now. Pain in the medieval world often comes from memory. The body keeps a record. There are scars beneath clothing. Some from accidents. Some from work. A cut from a blade. A burn from a fire. Most are small. Together, they shape the body. Children help with simple tasks. They carry light loads. Even so, they feel strain. Their arms tire. A child stumbles on uneven ground. A knee scrapes stone. There is a sharp moment. Then a quiet one. Tears come briefly. Then stop. The child stands again. Life moves on. Pain is not lingered over. There is no time for that. Inside the home, bread is prepared. Hands press dough. Wrists ache from repetition. Shoulders stiffen. The oven's heat warms the face. It also dries the skin. Sweat forms slowly. It carries salt into small cuts. There is a sting. It passes. Pain blends into every task. It is never separate. The smell of baking bread fills the room. It brings comfort. Comfort does not remove pain. It makes it easier to carry. Outside, work continues. Fields call for attention. The earth is hard in places. Tools strike stone. Each impact sends a vibration up the arms. Elbows ache by midday. Feet sink into damp soil. Cold seeps upward. In warmer months, heat presses down instead. The body feels heavy. Pain changes with the weather. It follows the seasons. Older villagers move more slowly. Their joints complain quietly. They pause often. Not to rest fully, but to adjust. There is wisdom in these pauses. They are learned over time. No one expects comfort. They expect endurance. Pain is not measured. It is not compared. Each person carries their own weight. Silently. As the sun climbs higher, the village settles into its rhythm. Work. Breath. Movement. Pain flows through it all. Unnoticed. Unremarked. It is simply there. As the day moves forward, the body learns its limits. People adjust without thinking. A hand changes its grip. A foot shifts its weight. These small movements help manage discomfort. They are learned early. Pain is not faced directly. It is worked around. In the fields, the soil resists the blade. Arms grow tired. Muscles burn slowly. The burn is familiar. It does not alarm anyone. It simply exists. A man pauses to straighten his back. The relief is brief. He bends again. Work continues. Nearby, a woman gathers herbs along the edge of the path. She kneels carefully. Her knees ache as they touch the ground. She rests her weight on one side. The herbs smell sharp and green. Their scent fills the air. Some will be used for food. Some for small remedies. There are plants believed to soothe pain. They help a little. A tea warms the stomach. A salve softens the skin. These comforts are gentle. They do not erase suffering. Pain in the medieval world is rarely cured. It is eased, briefly. Inside the village, someone tends to an old wound. A bandage is changed. The skin beneath is tight and pale. It pulls when the body moves. There is no rush. Care is slow. Hands work carefully. They know mistakes bring more pain. Teeth ache in the quiet moments. Especially in the afternoon. There are no easy answers for this pain. People chew on one side. They avoid cold water. They endure. Headaches come and go. Often tied to hunger or fatigue. Meals are simple. Sometimes small. The body learns to function with less. Less food. Less comfort. Children watch the adults closely. They learn without words. They see how pain is handled. How it is accepted. A scraped hand is washed. Then ignored. A twisted ankle is wrapped. Then used carefully. Complaints are rare. There is no audience for them. As the sun begins its slow descent, the pace changes. Work becomes lighter. Not easier. Just slower. The body grows heavy. Pain becomes more noticeable. Evening approaches. And with it, a quiet reckoning. The day's aches collect. They settle into muscles and joints. People carry them home. Like tools. They will be set down near the fire. Not removed. Just rested. The light begins to soften as afternoon fades. Shadows stretch across the ground. People feel the weight of the day now. It settles into their bodies. Work slows. Movements become careful. Tools are set down one by one. Hands open slowly. Fingers are stiff. They do not straighten easily. A man rubs his palms together. The skin is thick and cracked. Small cuts sting in the cooling air. They will sting more tomorrow. A woman lowers herself onto a bench near her door. She exhales. Her legs ache from standing. Her lower back holds a dull pressure. She adjusts her position until it feels manageable. Not comfortable. Just manageable. Children gather nearby. They sit close to the ground. Their bodies are tired too. Play has its own aches. Bruises darken on shins and arms. They are barely noticed. Inside the homes, fires are prepared again. Wood is placed carefully. The act of bending brings a sharp reminder to some. A wince. Then calm. Pain shows itself briefly. Then hides again. The fire crackles softly. Its warmth spreads slowly. Warmth does not heal. But it soothes. The heat relaxes tight muscles. It dulls sharp edges. People sit near the fire. They let their bodies rest. Silence fills the room. It is not empty. It holds breathing. It holds thought. A cough breaks the quiet. Then fades. Chronic pain lives with many here. Old injuries. Worn joints. There is no name for these conditions. They are simply known. A limp. A stiff neck. A slow step. Everyone understands without asking. Food is prepared slowly. Hands move with care. Stirring a pot pulls at the shoulder. Lifting a bowl strains the wrist. These small pains add up. They always have. Eating brings brief relief. Warm food eases the body. Hunger fades. Pain softens slightly. Evening deepens. Darkness approaches gently. Pain does not leave with the sun. It settles in for the night. Night moves slowly across the village. The sky darkens without urgency. Fires glow more brightly now. They become the center of each home. People gather close. Not for comfort alone, but for warmth. The body feels everything more clearly at night. Pain speaks louder in stillness. A man stretches his legs near the fire. His knees protest. He shifts them slightly. The pain settles into a dull throb. A woman leans against the wall. Her shoulders are heavy. She remembers carrying loads earlier. Her muscles still hold that weight. Memories live in the body. They do not fade easily. Children lie on the floor near the hearth. They are quiet now. Their small aches blend into sleep. Youth allows faster rest. Older bodies take longer. Sleep comes carefully. People talk softly. Their voices are low. Words are few. Silence is preferred. In this world, pain is shared without speech. A glance is enough. Someone adjusts a bandage. The movement is slow. The skin beneath is tender. Healing is uncertain. Illness is common. So is discomfort. A fever may rise in the night. A cough may linger. There is little that can be done. Waiting becomes the remedy. Pain teaches patience. It shapes the rhythm of life. Outside, the village is still. Only the wind moves. Cold air slips through cracks in the walls. It settles into bones. People pull blankets closer. Wool scratches the skin. Even this is familiar. Even this is endured. Sleep arrives in layers. Light at first. Dreams come and go. Pain follows into them. No one expects relief by morning. They expect continuation. Pain will wake with them. Just as it always does. And so the night holds the village. Quiet. Enduring. The fire burns lower as the night deepens. Its warmth fades slowly. People turn in their sleep. They search for ease. A shoulder presses against the floor. It grows sore. A hip stiffens. A leg tingles. Sleep is not always gentle. It comes and goes. Pain wakes some quietly. They do not rise. They lie still. They breathe. In the dark, discomfort feels larger. There is nothing else to distract the mind. Thoughts drift. Memories surface. An old injury is remembered without words. The body recalls it fully. Outside, the air grows colder. Dew forms on the ground. Inside, breath fogs faintly near faces. Blankets are pulled closer. Cold makes pain sharper. Joints tighten. Morning is still far away. Time stretches. Some villagers cough in the darkness. The sound echoes softly. Illness often brings pain. It settles into the chest. There is no medicine to chase it away. Only rest. Someone stirs the fire slightly. A few sparks rise. The light briefly touches the room. Then dims again. Sleep returns in fragments. Short and shallow. The body never fully forgets itself. Pain keeps it aware. As the night begins to thin, the air changes. A quiet shift. Birds are not yet awake. But the darkness lightens. People begin to stir. Slowly. Stiffness greets them before thought. Pain arrives first. A hand presses into the floor to rise. The wrist complains. A back straightens carefully. Muscles resist. Morning comes not as relief, but as routine. Another day begins. Pain has rested too. It is ready to continue. Morning returns quietly. The light is thin and pale. It slips into the village without sound. It touches walls and floors softly. People wake before they feel ready. Their bodies speak first. Stiffness settles into limbs overnight. Movement is slow. A man sits up carefully. His back tightens. He waits. Breath after breath. The pain eases just enough. He stands. A woman rubs her hands together near the cold hearth. Her fingers ache. Swollen joints make fine movements difficult. She adjusts. Children wake slowly. They stretch without thinking. Their bodies are lighter. Pain has not claimed them fully yet. But small aches are already there. They always will be. Outside, the ground is damp. Cold presses upward through thin shoes. Feet feel it immediately. Each step is measured. The body warms through motion. Pain shifts as warmth grows. In some, it dulls. In others, it sharpens. Old wounds respond to weather. Rain brings discomfort. Clear skies bring stiffness instead. The body listens closely to the world. Morning tasks begin again. They always do. A bucket is lifted. Water sloshes. The weight pulls at tired muscles. The strain feels familiar. Pain is not dramatic. It does not demand attention. It hums quietly beneath every movement. Constant. People accept it as part of waking. As natural as breath. No one expects ease. They expect ability. As long as the body moves, the day continues. Pain does not stop life. It simply shapes it. The morning grows fuller. Light spreads across the village paths. People move into their work again. Slowly. Carefully. Pain settles into familiar places. It no longer surprises. A man lifts a bundle of wood. His arms strain. The muscles in his shoulders tighten. He breathes through it. Breathing helps. It always has. Nearby, a woman bends to sweep the floor. Her back aches as she leans forward. She pauses often. Not to rest fully, but to ease the pressure. Pain teaches pacing. It shapes the day's rhythm. Children are given small tasks. They carry light items. Even so, their hands feel tired. Their feet feel sore. The ground is uneven. It tests every step. Inside the homes, daylight reveals old marks on walls. Scratches. Soot. These homes hold years of living. Years of discomfort. Furniture is simple. Hard. Sitting offers rest. But not softness. A bench supports the body. It does not cradle it. People shift their weight. They adjust constantly. Pain is always present, but never alone. It lives alongside habit. Meals are prepared again. Simple foods. Grinding grain strains the arms. The motion repeats. Over time, the body adapts. But pain remains. It dulls. It sharpens. It moves. No one counts these sensations. There is no scale. Pain is understood through living. Through repetition. As the morning continues, the village settles fully into motion. Work. breath, endurance. Pain walks quietly among them. Unnoticed. Accepted. The sun climbs higher, but without warmth yet. The air remains cool. Bodies begin to feel the strain of hours already past. Pain gathers quietly. A farmer pauses at the edge of a field. He straightens slowly. His spine resists the movement. He waits until it settles. Waiting is part of working. The body decides the pace. Nearby, hands dig into the soil. The earth is firm. Each push sends pressure into wrists and elbows. Old aches respond. There is no anger in these movements. Only familiarity. Pain does not interrupt thought. It accompanies it. Inside the village, a woman tends to cloth. She pulls thread through fabric. Her fingers are stiff. They ache with fine work. Small joints swell slightly. She ignores it. The cloth grows heavier as the hours pass. Her shoulders feel it. Pain builds gradually. It never arrives suddenly. People adjust their posture. They shift weight from foot to foot. These small changes keep pain manageable. They are learned early. Children observe without comment. They copy these movements. Pain is passed down like knowledge. Quietly. A man chews slowly on coarse bread. His teeth ache. He favors one side. He always has. There is no cure for this. Only habit. Hunger dulls pain for a moment. Then it returns. The village hums softly with effort. Not noise. Tools strike wood. Metal touches stone. Each sound is measured. Nothing is sharp. Pain lives in these sounds. It vibrates through arms and legs. As midday approaches, the body grows heavy. Sweat forms. Heat presses gently now. It brings its own discomfort. Skin tightens. Muscles burn. Pain changes with the hour. It shifts shape. There is no relief ahead. Only continuation. And so the villagers move forward. Step by step. Breath by breath. Pain remains with them. Steady. Quiet. Midday arrives quietly. The sun rests higher in the sky. Light spreads evenly across the village. Shadows shorten. Bodies feel the weight of many hours of effort. Pain becomes heavier now. A man leans on his tool for a moment. His hands tremble slightly. The skin of his palms is thick. Still, it aches. Blisters have long since hardened. But pressure remains. Nearby, a woman wipes her brow. Sweat stings her eyes. Her neck feels tight from bending. She rolls her shoulders slowly. The movement brings a dull relief. Then the ache returns. Pain in the medieval world rarely fades completely. It only changes. Children sit in the shade for a short while. Their legs stretch out before them. Even rest brings discomfort. The ground is hard. Bones press against earth. They shift often. Food is eaten slowly. Simple meals. Chewing tires the jaw. Teeth protest quietly. Some mouths are missing teeth already. The gaps are familiar. There is no embarrassment. Only adaptation. Water is drunk carefully. Cold shocks sensitive teeth. People learn how to sip. How to avoid sharp pain. Illness often lingers unnoticed. Small fevers. Low aches. They are accepted as part of the body's state. Nothing special. A headache settles behind the eyes. It dulls thought. Work continues anyway. It must. The sun holds steady for a time. The village breathes slowly. Pain spreads evenly through the body now. Not sharp. Not sudden. Just present. As midday begins to pass, shadows lengthen again. Movement slows further. People do not rush the afternoon. They cannot. The body decides what is possible. Pain sets the limit. And so the day bends gently forward, carrying everyone with it. The afternoon light grows softer. It loses its sharp edge. Shadows return to the paths and walls. They stretch quietly. Bodies feel heavier now. Pain settles deeper. A woman lowers herself onto a low stool. Her legs tremble slightly. Standing again will take effort. She knows this. She rests without guilt. Rest is earned. Nearby, a man rubs his forearm. The muscles ache from repeated motion. The ache is steady. It does not pulse. It reminds him of every movement made since morning. The body keeps count. Inside a home, someone tends to an older person. Movements are slow. The older body carries many pains at once. They overlap. An old injury flares without warning. Weather often does this. The air shifts slightly. The body responds. There is no complaint. Only adjustment. Pillows are folded. Support is added where needed. Pain changes posture. It shapes how people sit and lie. Children move more quietly now. Their energy has softened. Even they feel tired. Even they feel aches. Small hands are sore from work. Small backs feel strain. They learn early that tiredness brings pain. And that pain passes slowly. The village sounds fade into a low rhythm. Footsteps. Breath. No one rushes. The body will not allow it. The afternoon drifts toward evening. Pain drifts with it. Not growing. Not fading. Simply present. The sun lowers slowly. Its warmth becomes gentle. The body notices this change. Muscles loosen just a little. Pain does not disappear. It settles. A farmer leans on a fence. He watches the field without thinking. His back aches in a familiar way. It has a steady weight. He shifts his stance. The ache moves with him. This is how pain behaves. It travels, but it stays. Inside the village, doors are opened wider. Fresh air drifts in. The air carries coolness. It touches sore skin kindly. A woman washes her hands in a basin. The water stings cracked fingers. She does not pull away. She waits. The sting fades into dull warmth. Pain changes shape. Nearby, an elderly man lowers himself onto a bench. His knees protest. The sound is only in his body. No one else hears it. He breathes slowly. The pain answers by quieting. Not stopping. Just softening. Across the village, small fires are lit. Smoke rises in thin lines. The smell of wood settles everywhere. It feels familiar. Heat from the fire eases stiff joints. People move closer. Pain responds to warmth. It always has. Clothing is loosened. Belts are unfastened. The body asks for comfort. Simple comfort. There are no cures. Only small mercies. Pain is shared without words. Everyone understands. As the light fades, the village slows further. Movements become careful. Pain teaches this pace. It always has. The day leans toward rest. Pain leans with it. Still present. Still known. Evening arrives without announcement. It simply happens. Shadows grow longer along the ground. They stretch slowly, like tired limbs. The village changes its rhythm. Pain notices this first. Work ends not because pain disappears, but because it has spoken enough for one day. Tools are set down. Hands linger on them for a moment. The fingers ache when they release their grip. The ache stays behind. Inside small homes, fires glow brighter. The light is soft and uneven. A man lowers himself beside the hearth. His shoulders sink forward. The warmth reaches deep places. Places that worked all day. Pain loosens, not from kindness, but from familiarity. A woman stirs a pot slowly. Her wrist moves with care. Each turn brings a quiet reminder. Old strains never fully leave. She adjusts her grip. Pain adjusts with her. Children sit on the floor nearby. Their bodies still hold the memory of play. Small bruises, scraped knees, barely noticed now. Pain begins early in life. It grows alongside the body. Bread is broken. The crust is hard. Teeth press carefully. Gums ache where teeth are missing. No one rushes. Eating is slow. Pain teaches patience at the table. It always has. Outside, the air cools further. It slips through cracks in the walls. Cold settles into joints. Pain wakes again. People wrap themselves tighter. Wool scratches tired skin. The scratch becomes another sensation. Pain blends into it. Voices are low. Words are few. There is comfort in shared silence. Pain feels less alone there. As darkness gathers, bodies lean inward. Toward warmth, toward rest. Pain comes with them. It always does. Not as an enemy. Just as a companion. Night settles slowly. It does not arrive all at once. It seeps into the village, filling corners and quiet spaces. The fire crackles gently. Its sound is steady and low. Bodies gather closer. Pain gathers with them. A man stretches his legs toward the heat. The movement is careful. His knees complain softly. They always do when the day ends. He shifts again. Pain shifts too. A woman rubs her hands together. The skin is rough and cracked. Cold has lived there for years. Pain remembers every winter. Children grow still. Sleep finds them early. Their bodies relax easily now. Pain rests lightly on them. It will grow heavier later. For now, it waits. The smell of smoke clings to hair and clothes. It settles into everything. Eyes blink slowly. Lids grow heavy. Pain dulls as tiredness spreads. Not gone, just quieter. Someone coughs. The sound echoes once. Chests ache from old sickness. Breathing is shallow but steady. Pain moves with every breath. In and out. The fire burns lower. Shadows deepen. The room feels smaller. Pain feels closer. Blankets are pulled up. They are thin but familiar. Rough fabric presses against sore skin. The pressure is known. Sleep comes in pieces. Short and gentle. Pain slips between those pieces. Never fully waking anyone. Outside, the village is silent. Only wind moves. Inside, bodies rest as they can. Pain rests too. Not asleep. Just quiet. The night grows thicker. The fire is now only a glow. Ash settles. Heat fades slowly. Bodies sink into stillness. Pain settles with them. A man turns in his sleep. The movement is small. His shoulder protests. It has carried weight for many years. The pain does not wake him fully. It never needs to. It is familiar enough to be part of dreaming. It drifts through sleep like a low sound. A woman breathes steadily. Her back is stiff. The straw beneath her presses unevenly. Her spine knows every bend. Pain traces the shape of her bones. It follows old paths. She exhales. The pain eases slightly. Not gone. Just softened. Nearby, an older body does not sleep deeply. It never does. Pain keeps it close to waking. Always listening. Hands curl and uncurl. Fingers ache from cold and work. Joints swell in the dark. No one sees it. Pain does not need light. It lives easily in shadow. Outside, frost forms quietly. The air tightens. Inside, breath fogs faintly. Cold creeps closer. Pain sharpens with the chill. It responds to weather. A knee throbs once. Then again. The rhythm is slow. Almost gentle. Someone shifts their blanket. The fabric scratches skin. Pain flares briefly. Then settles back down. The night holds everything together. Pain, sleep, breath. No one expects relief. Only rest. The body does what it can. Pain allows it. Hour by hour, the dark continues. Nothing changes quickly. Pain remains steady. Like the quiet itself. The night stretches on. It feels wide and unmeasured. There is no bell to mark the hours. Only breathing. Pain listens to the breathing. It moves with it. A dull ache rises and falls. Like a slow tide. In one corner of the room, a child stirs. Their legs are growing. Growth brings its own quiet pain. A pulling deep in the bones. The child does not know words for it. They only shift and sigh. Pain passes through small bodies too. It does not wait for age. Nearby, an older man wakes halfway. Not fully awake. His hip burns softly. An old injury remembers itself. He adjusts his weight. The floor creaks once. Pain responds. Then calms. He does not curse. He does not think. Pain has lived with him too long. It needs no name. Outside, the wind moves the trees. Branches scrape gently. The sound travels through the walls. It mixes with pain. Inside the chest, breath slows. The body guards its strength. Pain rests where muscles tighten. Where scars lie hidden. A hand touches a knee in the dark. Checking without looking. Yes, it is still there. It always is. The fire has gone cold now. Only ash remains. Cold settles into joints. Pain follows. No one rises to tend the fire. Energy is saved. Pain teaches careful movement. Even in sleep. Hours pass without counting. The body drifts. Pain does not disappear. It waits quietly. Like the night itself. Patient. Unmoving. The night begins to thin, though no one knows it yet. There is no clear moment when darkness loosens its hold. It happens slowly, quietly, like a breath easing out. Pain remains awake. It always is. In the stillness before dawn, bodies lie heavy and unmoving. Sleep is shallow now. Not quite rest. Not quite waking. An old woman shifts on her straw mattress. Her fingers are stiff. They curl inward, slow and stubborn. She rubs them together softly. The sound is barely there. Dry skin against dry skin. Pain answers the movement. A sharp reminder in each joint. She pauses. Lets her hands rest again. This is how she begins most days. Not with thought. Not with hope. But with pain. Across the room, a man exhales and turns his head. His neck pulls tight. A quiet groan escapes before he can stop it. Pain wakes him fully now. It has done this many times. He stares into the dark. Nothing to see. Only the weight in his shoulders. The dull throb in his lower back. He breathes through it. Slow. Measured. The body learns its own rhythms. Pain becomes part of that rhythm. Outside, a rooster shifts on its perch. Not crowing yet. Just settling. The sound carries faintly through the walls. It blends with the small noises of waking bodies. A child coughs once. Then again. The cough hurts the chest. It always does. No one rushes to comfort. Not from lack of care. But because pain is ordinary. It does not signal danger by itself. The cough fades. The child sleeps again. In another house nearby, a woman lies awake. Her belly is heavy. Life presses outward from inside her. The weight pulls on her back. Pain spreads slowly, evenly. She shifts carefully. Every movement measured. Pain reminds her to move slowly. To protect what she carries. She places a hand on her side. Warm. Steady. Pain does not frighten her. It is expected. It has been part of this path from the beginning. The sky lightens just a little. Not enough to see. But enough to feel. Pain feels the coming of day. Cold retreats slightly. Warmth promises itself. Joints loosen by a small degree. Muscles soften. Pain changes shape. It does not leave. It simply becomes something else. The first birds begin to sing. One note. Then another. Sound slips into the rooms. It touches sleeping ears. Eyes flutter open. Then close again. Pain rises with waking. But so does habit. Hands reach for clothing. Slowly. Carefully. Feet touch the ground. Cold bites. Pain sharpens. Then settles. The day has not begun yet. But it is near. Pain waits with it. Morning arrives without announcement. There is no sudden change. Only a slow brightening of the air. Pain wakes fully now. As villagers sit up, they feel it settle into familiar places. Knees ache before standing. Spines complain before bending. A man swings his legs off the bed. His feet find the cold floor. Pain sharpens, then steadies. He stands slowly. He always does. The body remembers what the mind does not question. Water waits in a wooden bucket. Cool. Still. A woman dips her hands into it. The cold stings cracked skin. Pain blooms in small cuts and splits. She does not pull away. She washes her face. The shock clears sleep from her eyes. Pain lingers in her fingers as she dries them on her apron. This is how mornings feel. Clear. Sharp. Unhurried. Breakfast is simple. Bread. Thin broth. A man chews slowly. One tooth aches with every bite. He favors one side of his mouth. He has learned how. Pain guides small adjustments. It teaches careful habits. He swallows. The ache remains. It always does. Children rise stiff and quiet. Their bodies already know pain, though fewer years have passed. A scraped knee pulls tight as skin dries. Old bruises throb faintly. They do not complain. They watch adults and learn silence. Pain is not hidden. It is shared. Outside, work waits. Tools are lifted slowly. Wooden handles press into palms. Pain answers pressure. A dull pulse beneath calluses. A man grips tighter anyway. The work must be done. Pain does not stop labor. It simply walks beside it. The fields stretch outward, quiet and patient. A woman bends to tend plants. Her back tightens immediately. She pauses. Straightens halfway. Pain eases, then returns as she bends again. She breathes with it. She always has. Sunlight warms the air. Cold pain softens into warmth, heavy aching. Sweat gathers. Muscles burn. Pain changes its tone. Less sharp. More constant. It becomes a background hum. At midday, bodies rest. People sit on the ground or lean against walls. They do not lie fully down. Pain prefers stillness, but not too much. A man stretches his legs carefully. A woman rubs her wrists. These small movements are quiet conversations with pain. Food is eaten slowly. Hands shake slightly from effort and ache. Wooden bowls are held close. Pain does not ruin the meal. It shapes it. People eat with patience. With awareness. As work resumes, pain settles deeper. It is no longer surprising. It is simply present. Like the weight of clothing. Like the sound of wind. Pain becomes part of the world's texture. In the afternoon, shadows lengthen. Bodies grow heavier. Movements slow further. Pain thickens. It pulls downward. A man pauses more often now. A woman leans longer on her hoe. No one rushes them. Pain sets the pace. Small injuries happen quietly. A splinter slides into skin. A stone twists underfoot. Pain flares briefly. Sharp. Clear. Then it fades into the larger ache already there. These moments are noted, then forgotten. As evening approaches, relief begins. Work ends not with joy, but with release. Tools are set aside. Hands open slowly. Pain remains, but effort leaves. This difference is felt deeply. Walking home is careful now. Feet drag slightly. Hips sway. Pain pools in tired muscles. The village grows quiet again. Inside, warmth waits. Firelight softens edges. Shadows hide strained faces. Pain feels gentler here. Still present. But less sharp. People sit. They breathe. Evening food is simple and slow. Chewing takes effort. Swallowing brings relief. Pain does not leave at night. But it lowers its voice. The day closes gently around tired bodies. As night deepens, pain settles into the body the way darkness settles into the village. Not suddenly. Not harshly. It arrives the same way it always has, quietly, with familiarity. People sit close to the fire. Not because it cures pain, but because warmth softens its edges. A man stretches his legs forward, careful not to move too fast. His knees ache with a low, steady pressure that feels older than the day itself. He does not think about when it began. It has always been there, as far as memory reaches. A woman shifts her weight on a wooden bench. Her back tightens when she leans too far, so she learns how to lean less. Pain has taught her posture. It has shaped the way she sits, the way she stands, the way she sleeps. The fire crackles softly. Each small sound fills the quiet room. Pain listens too. It listens from joints, from muscles, from old injuries that never truly healed. Hands are rubbed together slowly. Not from cold now, but from stiffness. Fingers do not bend as easily at night. They resist, then yield. Pain moves like that. Resisting first. Yielding second. Children grow quiet. Their bodies are lighter, but not free. They curl near adults, already learning how to find positions that hurt less. Even sleep is shaped by pain. A child turns carefully. A knee is tucked in. An arm is placed just so. No one speaks of it. There is no word needed. Pain is not an event. It is a condition of being alive. As darkness thickens outside, the village breathes together. Dogs settle. Animals shift in their shelters. The wind passes through thatched roofs and wooden walls. Inside, bodies grow heavy. Pain grows heavier too, but slower. It no longer demands attention. It simply exists. A man leans his head back against the wall. His neck stiffens. He adjusts once. Then again. Eventually, he stops moving. The body learns when movement brings more pain than stillness. This knowledge is ancient. Passed down without words. A woman massages her forearm where muscle pulls tight from years of work. The skin is warm. The ache is deep. She presses gently, not to remove the pain, but to remind it she is still here. Pain is not feared. It is negotiated with. As the fire burns lower, people begin to lie down. Beds are simple. Straw. Cloth. Wood. Pain does not care what the bed is made of. It comes anyway. People lower themselves slowly. They exhale as they do. That breath carries effort away and leaves ache behind. Someone turns on their side. A hip protests. They turn back. Another breath. Another small adjustment. Eventually, the body finds a shape it can hold. Outside, night is complete. Inside, pain remains awake even as minds drift. Sleep does not erase pain. It blurs it. Softens its edges. Pushes it into the background. Dreams come slowly. Not vivid. Not sharp. Pain stays close, even there. In the dark hours before dawn, bodies shift again. A leg goes numb. A shoulder tightens. Pain wakes gently, reminding the body it still exists. No one cries out. There is no surprise. Pain has always been a companion in the medieval world. It walks through every hour. It sits beside every task. It lies down with every body. As the village rests, pain rests too. Not gone. Just quieter. And in that quiet, life continues. Slow. Heavy. Endured. The night continues without urgency. Pain does not disappear when sleep arrives. It simply changes its shape. Breathing slows. The chest rises and falls with a steady rhythm. Pain settles into that rhythm, moving gently with each breath. In one house, an old man lies awake longer than the others. His eyes remain closed, but his thoughts drift slowly. His legs ache in a way that feels deep and dull, like a distant pressure. He does not remember a time without it. Pain has aged with him. It has grown patient. He shifts his weight just enough to ease the tension. The straw beneath him rustles softly. That sound is familiar. So is the ache. In another house, a woman wakes briefly. Her shoulder burns where a muscle pulls tight. She presses her hand against it, not expecting relief. The touch is more about acknowledgement than healing. Then she lets her arm rest again. Sleep returns. Pain understands these moments. It does not demand attention forever. It waits. Outside, the wind moves slowly through bare branches. The cold settles deeper into the ground. Stone walls hold the chill. Wooden floors feel hard beneath sleeping bodies. Cold and pain are close companions. One sharpens the other. People pull their coverings closer. Wool scratches skin. That too is felt. That too is accepted. Pain is not dramatic. It does not arrive loudly. It does not announce itself. It is woven into sensation itself. In the deepest part of the night, the village is nearly still. Even animals are quiet. Only the smallest sounds remain. A cough. A slow turn. A breath taken carefully. Pain drifts through these hours like a low fog. Not thick enough to see. Not thin enough to ignore. Bodies remember their limits. A wrist that once bent easily now resists. A knee that once carried weight now complains. These memories are stored not in thought, but in muscle and bone. Pain teaches restraint. It teaches patience. It teaches how to move less. As dawn begins to approach, though still unseen, pain begins to stir again. Morning brings motion. Motion brings effort. Effort brings ache. Some people wake early. Not by choice. Pain wakes them. A man sits up slowly, placing his feet on the cold floor one at a time. He pauses there. Not from sleepiness, but from stiffness. His joints argue with gravity. He waits until the pain loosens just enough. Then he stands. This is how the day begins. Pain is part of waking. Part of standing. Part of living. In the medieval world, pain is not a failure of the body. It is proof that the body has worked. That it has endured seasons. That it has survived. As the first light begins to soften the darkness, pain remains. Quiet. Steady. Unremarkable. Life does not stop because of it. Life moves slowly around it. And so the village wakes again, carrying pain forward into another day, just as it carried it through the night, calmly, patiently, without surprise. The morning arrives without ceremony. Light slips gently through cracks in shutters and gaps in walls. It does not chase the darkness away. It simply replaces it, slowly. Pain wakes with the light. A woman opens her eyes and lies still for a moment. Her back is tied from the night. The straw mattress has pressed unevenly beneath her. She breathes once. Then again. Pain stretches with her breath. She sits up carefully. Not because she is weak. Because she knows her body. Experience has taught her where pain waits. It hides in sudden movements. It appears when one forgets to be gentle. Her feet touch the floor. Cold rises through her soles. Pain sharpens briefly, then dulls. She stands. Around her, others wake in similar ways. Quietly. Without words. Morning is not a time for conversation. It is a time for listening to the body. A man rubs his hands together near the hearth. The fire has gone cold during the night. Ashes sit pale and still. His fingers ache from years of work. The joints are thick. Movement is slow. He flexes them one by one. Each movement brings a small, familiar pain. He accepts it without thought. Pain does not stop him. It guides him. Outside, the air is heavy with damp cold. The ground holds yesterday's moisture. Mud clings to shoes. Walking takes effort. Each step presses through resistance. Pain travels upward from the feet. Into the knees. Into the hips. No one complains. Complaints do not ease pain. Instead, people adjust their pace. They take shorter steps. They pause when needed. Pain shapes the rhythm of the village. Animals stir. A cow shifts its weight and exhales slowly. A dog lifts its head, then rests it again. Even animals know pain. A limp here. A stiff movement there. Life accepts it as part of motion. In one small house, a child wakes crying softly. The sound is thin. Tired. A fever burns quietly beneath the skin. Pain pulses in the head. A mother sits beside the child. She places a cool hand on the forehead. The touch is gentle. She does not panic. Pain in children is feared, but it is also common. She rocks slowly. Her arms ache from yesterday's work. Her back pulls tight. She keeps rocking. Pain moves through her body as she comforts another. It does not stop her. It never has. Morning chores begin. Water must be carried. Wood must be gathered. Food must be prepared. Each task brings its own small discomforts. Cold hands. Bent backs. Sore shoulders. Pain becomes layered. One ache over another. A man lifts a bucket. His grip slips slightly. Pain flares in his wrist. He tightens his hold. Adjusts his stance. He has learned how to work around pain. Not through instruction. Through repetition. Pain is a teacher that never rests. In the fields beyond the village, the ground waits. It is hard in places. Soft in others. Tools press into soil. Hands wrap around worn wood. Blisters form slowly. Then open. Pain stings briefly. Then settles into a dull burn. No one stops for it. Pain is expected here. It is not a sign to quit. It is simply part of doing. As the sun rises higher, warmth begins to reach stiff muscles. Pain eases slightly. Not gone. Just quieter. This quiet does not last long. The day continues. Work continues. Pain follows. It moves with people through the hours, never loud, never absent, always present, like a shadow that does not frighten because it has always been there. And so the medieval world moves forward, one careful step at a time, carrying pain as naturally as breath, as naturally as waking, as naturally as living itself. The day settles into its slow middle hours. The sun climbs, not quickly, but steadily, and with it comes a small easing of stiffness. Muscles warm. Joints loosen just enough to move with less resistance. Pain does not vanish. It simply softens at the edges. In the village, people work without hurry. Hurry only brings sharper pain. Everyone knows this. A woman kneels beside a low table, grinding grain with steady hands. The stone is cool and rough. Her wrists circle again and again. A dull ache spreads up her arms. It is not sudden. It grows slowly, like a quiet tide. She pauses only when the ache becomes too insistent. Not to rest fully. Just to shift her weight. Pain teaches small adjustments. Nearby, a man repairs a worn tool. He squints in the light. His eyes strain. A headache presses behind his temples. It has been there for years. Sometimes stronger. Sometimes lighter. He blinks. Takes a breath. Keeps working. Pain in the head is common. So is fatigue. So is endurance. Children move through the village paths. Their steps are lighter. Their pain comes and goes more quickly. Still, scraped knees sting. Cold fingers ache. Hunger brings its own discomfort. Pain visits them too. It is simply newer. An older child carries water with care. The bucket is heavy. It pulls on thin arms. The strain burns. The burn becomes ache. The child learns where the limit is. Learns when to stop. Learns when to continue. Pain becomes instruction. In the quiet of a small house, an elderly woman sits near the doorway. Her breathing is slow. Her chest feels tight. Each breath carries effort. Each breath brings a faint pain. She rests her hands in her lap. The skin is thin. The veins are visible. Pain has shaped her posture. Her shoulders curve inward. Her neck bends slightly forward. This is not weakness. It is adaptation. She listens to the sounds of the village. Footsteps. Voices kept low. Tools touching wood. Sound comforts her. Pain feels less sharp when life continues around it. Midday brings food. Simple meals. Hard bread. Thin broth. Teeth ache as they chew. Gums are sore. Some teeth are missing. Pain returns with every bite. But hunger outweighs it. Eating is slow. Careful. People swallow gently. They know where pain waits. After eating, there is no long rest. Only brief pauses. A man leans against a wall. His back presses into the stone. Cold seeps through cloth. Pain shifts location. The ache moves. He closes his eyes for a moment. Just a moment. Rest is measured in breaths, not hours. The afternoon passes like this. Work. Small pauses. Work again. Pain rises and falls in waves. Never gone. Never overwhelming. It becomes background. A constant presence that no longer demands attention unless it changes. When pain changes, people notice. A sharpness where there was once dullness. Heat where there was once cold. Those moments bring concern. But most pain is familiar. Familiar pain is safe. As the sun begins to lower, fatigue settles in. Fatigue brings its own aches. Legs feel heavy. Hands tremble slightly. Pain deepens. People slow further. They shorten their movements. They speak less. Evening approaches. With evening comes a different kind of pain. The pain of tired bodies. The pain of spent strength. But there is comfort in this pain. It signals the end of effort. Fires are lit again. Warmth returns to rooms. Heat eases joints. Softens muscles. Pain responds. It loosens its grip. People sit close to the fire. They stretch legs carefully. They rest hands in laps. The day has taken its share. Pain has walked every step with them. It has not been kind. But it has been expected. As shadows grow longer and the village prepares for night once more, pain settles into a quieter form, waiting patiently for sleep, knowing it will not be left behind. And the day, slow and heavy with effort, fades gently into evening, carrying pain with it, just as it always has. Evening arrives with a softness that the body feels before the eyes see it. The light lowers. Shadows lengthen. Sounds soften. Pain changes again. After the long hours of work, bodies grow heavy. Muscles that were warm now begin to cool. As warmth fades, stiffness returns. A man sits on a low bench near the fire. His hands rest on his knees. They ache deeply now, the kind of ache that comes after effort is finished. He does not move them much. Movement brings sharper pain at this hour. Stillness feels safer. Across the room, a woman stirs a pot slowly. Her shoulders burn with fatigue. Each small motion sends a quiet reminder through her arms. She keeps stirring. Slow circles. Careful movements. Pain at evening is different. It is fuller. Heavier. It feels earned. Children gather near the warmth. They settle against walls or on the floor. Their bodies are tired in a simpler way. Even so, scraped skin throbs. Bruised limbs ache. They shift often. Searching for comfort. Pain teaches them where comfort lives. Food is shared quietly. Not much talking. Talking uses energy. Chewing hurts tired jaws. Swallowing tightens sore throats. But eating brings warmth. And warmth softens pain. People eat slowly. They pause between bites. They listen to the crackle of fire. Sound becomes soothing. It pulls attention away from the body. Pain recedes just a little. Outside, the air cools quickly. Dampness settles into the ground. Cold waits at the edges of the village. Those who step outside feel it immediately. It bites at joints. It stiffens fingers. Pain sharpens briefly. Then dulls again. Wooden doors close. Shutters are pulled tight. Inside, warmth gathers. An older man lies back against a wall. His spine protests as he lowers himself. A sharp pain flashes, then fades into a deep ache. He exhales slowly. This pain is familiar. It reminds him he is alive. That he has lived long enough to feel it. Nearby, a woman rubs her calves gently. They cramp after hours of standing. The muscles twitch beneath her hands. She presses until the ache softens. Not gone. Just quieter. Pain listens to touch. Evening is a time of tending. Not only to food and fire, but to bodies. Small rituals appear. Rubbing sore joints. Stretching tired backs. Massaging stiff hands. These acts are not seen as treatment. They are simply part of ending the day. Pain is acknowledged. Not fought. As darkness deepens, conversation fades. Voices lower. Silence grows comfortable. In silence, pain speaks more clearly. But it is not alarming. It is steady. Predictable. People settle into sleeping places early. There is no reason to stay awake long. Sleep does not erase pain. But it changes it. Bodies lie down carefully. Slowly. Each movement planned. Straw shifts beneath weight. Wool blankets scratch skin. Scratching stings. Then settles. Eyes close. Breathing slows. Pain remains, but it softens at the edges. It drifts, less sharp, less demanding. In the medieval world, pain does not end with the day. It follows people into the night. But night also brings rest. And rest brings a quiet promise. The promise that pain, though constant, can be endured one breath at a time. And so, as the village sinks into darkness once more, pain lies down with it, calm and familiar, waiting patiently for morning to come again. Night deepens, and with it comes a slower kind of time. The fire burns lower now. Flames soften into glowing embers. Light moves gently across the walls. Pain settles into the quiet. Bodies rest on straw and wool. They lie in positions learned over many nights. Each person knows how to place an arm, a leg, a shoulder, so that pain stays bearable. Sleep comes in layers. Light sleep first. Then deeper. Pain floats between waking and rest. A man dreams, but the dream is thin. His knee aches even in sleep. The ache weaves itself into the dream without waking him fully. He shifts once. The movement is small. The pain eases slightly. Nearby, a woman breathes unevenly. Her chest tightens now and then. Each breath carries effort. Even asleep, her body works. Even asleep, pain remains part of that work. Children sleep more deeply. Their bodies are lighter. Pain has not yet settled into them the way it has into adults. Still, a fevered child stirs. A soft whimper escapes. A hand reaches out in the dark. A mother's hand. Warm. Steady. The touch does not remove the pain. But it anchors the child. Pain often feels smaller when shared. Outside, the wind moves across the village roofs. It slips through cracks. It brushes against walls. Cold seeps inward. Pain responds. Joints tighten again. Muscles stiffen. Someone pulls a blanket closer. The wool scratches. The scratch stings. Then the sting fades. Pain is layered like that. One sensation over another. Always changing. Always present. Hours pass quietly. There is no clock to mark them. Only breathing. Only the shifting of weight. Only the quiet language of the body. In the deepest part of the night, pain feels different. It is no longer shaped by work or movement. It becomes internal. A throbbing tooth. A burning stomach. A slow pulse in the lower back. These pains are harder to ignore. There is nothing else happening to distract the mind. Some people wake fully during these hours. They stare into darkness. They do not panic. They have done this many times before. They breathe. They wait. Pain crests. Then falls. This waiting is learned early in life. Pain teaches patience better than any voice ever could. Eventually, sleep returns. Not deep, but enough. As the night stretches on, bodies grow still again. Pain quiets into a background hum. The village rests as much as it can. Before dawn, when the sky is still dark but the air begins to shift, pain stirs once more. Morning always brings movement. Movement always brings pain. But for now, in this narrow space between night and day, there is calm. Pain is present, but gentle. Life is paused. And in that pause, the medieval world breathes slowly, holding its aches and its endurance together, waiting quietly for another day to begin. The edge of morning begins long before light appears. It is felt first, not seen. The air changes. The cold softens just slightly. Breathing feels different. Pain senses it. Bodies that have rested without true comfort begin to stir. Not all at once. One at a time. A man opens his eyes and does not move. He waits. Moving too quickly would bring sharp pain. His back feels tight, like wood left too long in the cold. He breathes into it. Slow breaths. Measured breaths. Pain listens to breath. Nearby, a woman wakes with a quiet ache behind her eyes. Her head feels heavy. The pain pulses gently. She keeps her eyes closed. Darkness is easier. Pain at this hour feels deep. Less sharp. More settled. In another house, an elderly man wakes coughing softly. Each cough sends a ripple of pain through his chest. He presses a hand there, not to stop the cough, but to steady himself. Pain does not frighten him. It is old. Like a companion who has walked many years beside him. Outside, the village remains quiet. No voices. No movement. Only the faint sound of animals shifting. Hooves scrape lightly against packed earth. A slow breath escapes from a sleeping cow. Pain exists here too. Animals feel it as deeply as people do. A stiff leg. A sore flank. They rise carefully when the time comes. As the sky lightens almost imperceptibly, people begin to sit up. The act is slow. Intentional. Pain marks each step of the motion. Back. Hips. Knees. Hands reach for support. Walls. Furniture. The ground itself. Standing is an act of patience. A woman places her feet flat on the floor and pauses. The cold bites. Pain sharpens. She waits until the sensation dulls. Then she stands. The first moments of morning belong entirely to pain. Work has not yet begun. Hunger has not yet spoken loudly. Pain speaks first. Fires are stirred back to life. Ashes shift. A small flame catches. Warmth spreads slowly. Pain responds. Hands held near the fire loosen. Fingers uncurl. Joints soften. Pain retreats a little, never fully leaving. Water is poured. Simple food prepared. Chewing hurts stiff jaws. Swallowing strains sore throats. But eating brings strength. Strength allows movement. Movement brings pain. This cycle is known. Accepted. People dress themselves slowly. Cloth rubs against skin. The rubbing irritates old sores. Pain flares briefly. Then settles. Outside, the day fully arrives. Light reveals faces lined not only by age, but by endurance. Eyes carry calm familiarity. Pain has shaped these faces. It has carved patience into them. The work of the day begins again. Lifting. Walking. Bending. Pain returns to its daytime role. It becomes practical. A man adjusts his grip on a tool to protect a sore wrist. A woman bends differently to spare her back. Pain teaches efficiency. Throughout the morning, pain rises and falls. Never dramatic. Never absent. It is part of the weather of the body. In the medieval world, pain is not hidden. It is not spoken of often, but it is known by all. It connects people. It shapes routines. It limits and guides. As the day moves forward once more, pain walks with the village, quietly, steadily, as it always has. And life continues, not despite pain, but with it, woven deeply into every slow movement, every careful breath, every ordinary moment of being alive. As the day slowly settles back into evening once more, nothing truly ends. The light fades again. Work loosens its grip. Bodies grow heavy with familiar tiredness. Pain remains. It does not leave at sunset. It does not fade with the firelight. It simply quiets, returning to its steady, patient place inside the body. People move more slowly now. They sit closer to warmth. They speak less. Pain no longer needs to remind them it is there. They already know. A man lowers himself onto straw, carefully, the way he has learned over many years. A woman rests her hands in her lap, fingers curled slightly, joints thick and warm from use. A child leans against a wall, tired enough to forget small aches. The village breathes together. Pain becomes part of that breath. Inhale. Exhale. No one expects relief. No one waits for a future without it. Pain has always been here. In the fields. In the homes. In the bones. It has shaped how people walk, how they work, how they rest. It has taught patience without words. Endurance without pride. In the medieval world, pain is not a story told loudly. It is not written down carefully. It lives quietly, inside ordinary days. It exists in sore hands and stiff backs. In aching teeth and tired eyes. In the slow way people lower themselves to sleep and the careful way they rise again. Pain does not define these lives. But it is woven through them, like thread through cloth. And as night comes once more, the village settles into stillness. Fires dim. Voices fall silent. Breathing deepens. Pain lies down with everyone else. Not as an enemy. Not as a surprise. But as something known. Something endured. The world grows quiet. The body rests as it can. And time moves on, gently, steadily, carrying both life and pain forward together, into the dark, into the calm, into sleep.